guys, it's 7:15, so that means it's time to start our live stream. And whether you're here watching with us live or you're watching later, we're excited to see you. So tonight you're going to need a piece of wall or a dresser or some sort of back of a chair, desk, something that you can put your legs up the wall on. So if that means you're going to use a coffee table, that's fine. But if you do have the opportunity to use, oh, sorry, buddy. If you do have the opportunity to use something taller so that your legs can be long up the wall or up the dresser, whatever it is, then that would be preferable. This is Timmy. I don't think we've ever introduced him properly on YouTube, but this is Timmy, and the orange cat who runs around is Lilu. So we're going to get started tonight with some centering, and some pranayama. And I wanted to give you a little bit of feedback on why it is that we do some of the pranayama that we do in these more gentle classes. So when we do pranayama like square breathing or alternate nostril breathing, the reason we do that is because it has a balancing effect. And I've talked about this before, but we don't necessarily, for this practice that I'm bringing to you, our goal is not necessarily to heat the body because we're about to go into some cooling practices. On the flip side, we don't necessarily want to cool the body too much. So that's why we don't practice necessarily any just cooling pranayama either. For alternate nostril breathing, when you focus on the right side, it is a heating practice. So it is a Surya Vedana practice, and sorry, the cat. So it's a Surya Vedana practice. This is a sun practice. So it is heating. And what you would do if you were feeling maybe sadness or feeling like you needed some energy or to enliven your thoughts, you would focus on inhaling through the right nostril, exhaling through the left, inhaling through the right, exhaling through the left, over and over. And that would be the opposite if you wanted only some cooling and calming the mind effect. You would inhale through the left and exhale through the right, over and over, using the same practice we do in our alternate nostril breathing. And that is a Chandra Vedana practice, and it is a moon-centered practice. So it has a more cooling effect and quiets the mind. So when we combine those, like we've done in several of these classes and like what we'll do tonight, it's an alternate nostril practice, and it is a balancing. So it helps aid some of the anxiety, and it also helps some of that maybe more sad or down kind of feelings, as well as heating and cooling the body at the same time to help bring some balance. So I wanted to give a little explanation tonight before we get started. So find find a comfortable seat. Make sure your sitting bones are rooted. So you might have to move some tissue out of the way from your sitting bones so that you can root down. And then once you get settled, let the palms face up. Let the chin be parallel to the earth. And start to find your breath. You might close your eyes. And bring the right hand to the belly and the left hand to the heart. And as you breathe in, let the breath fill you up like a vase, so from the bottom to the top. And as you exhale, exhale from the top to the bottom, just as if you were pouring out from that vase. Just 2, maybe 3 more breaths, just like this, a little longer than normal, filling up that vase. Maybe noticing your heartbeat, noticing how you've landed in this space, whatever little piece of sacred space you've been able to make for yourself wherever you are. And then we'll bring the palms together. You might notice a little heat, a little bit of energy between your palms. You could even separate them and still feel some of that energy between the palms. Gently bow the head. Go ahead and bring into mind 2, maybe 3 items from your gratitude list today. Could be simple, like a cup of tea. Doesn't have to be big. Take a nice big inhale of gratitude. And exhale anything that is no longer serving you. After you do that a couple of times, let the left hand come down to the knee, and we'll bring the right hand, the thumb and the ring finger. And you can have your peace sign either at the forehead or in between your fingers. You'll start by plugging the right nostril and inhaling through the left. Plugging the left and exhaling through the right. Inhaling through the right. Exhaling through the left. So that's one full round. Once you've inhaled over and then inhaled back over and exhaled through the left. So continue those full rounds of alternate nostril breathing, inhaling through the left, exhaling through the right, inhaling through the right, exhaling through the left. The next time you exhale through the left side, allow the right hand to come down to the knee. Let your eyes close if they aren't already. And notice your breath and your heart. Notice if anything has changed since walking into this room. Sense coming into this moment. Take a nice big inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale that left hand down, right hand up and over. The next time you exhale, come a little deeper, keeping the sitting bones glued to the earth. When you inhale, come back up to the center and exhale to the other side. This next exhale, sink a little deeper. The next time you inhale, come back up to the center and exhale, forward fold. Let your head and your neck be heavy. The next time you inhale, walk the hands in, lift the torso back up, switch the cross of your legs. Take a nice big inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale into your twist. Take 3 long inhales and exhales here, lengthening through the spine with each inhale. Keeping the breath in and out through the nose. Take another inhale. Exhale, sweep the arms out and up. Full inhale here. Exhale to the other side. 3 long inhales and exhales. The next inhale, take a long inhale and exhale, sweep the arms through the center. Inhale, drop the shoulders if they're coming up by the ears, and then exhale, forward fold. One more inhale and exhale here. And then as you inhale, walk the hands in, come back up. And make your way into tabletop. Take about 3 to 5 breaths here in tabletop. Letting any organic movement that wants to happen here. Just allowing movement in the spine, gently warming up and bringing attention to the spine. And then when you feel ready, when you feel complete with that, go ahead and make your way to the wall or the dresser, whatever you've selected as your wall or surrogate wall. And then the best practice to come to legs up the wall is to come up to the wall and lay on your side with your head towards the center of the room with your rear up to the wall. And then once you get laid down, you may have to scoot even a little more and then roll your legs up. So you'll roll onto your back. And you'll stay a little bit more centered than Brett did here. He got a little bit crooked, so we had to do some maneuvering with the shoulders, which is fine, but can cause some extra muscles that you don't need to have to use. So here we're going to start. How intuitive. We are actually going to start with the left hand on the heart and the right hand on the belly, which seemed to feel pretty natural to Brett this evening. But we're just going to take about 5 breaths here. After that 5th breath, you'll reach the arms long up above your head towards the center of the room for anywhere between 5 and 10 breaths. We don't want to hit an edge here, so we don't want you to find discomfort that doesn't feel like stretch. And then when you feel complete with that 5 to 10 breaths, you'll draw the hands back down by the sides with the palms facing up, away from the hips, and then the feet will stay long, the legs will stay long with the feet up above. So at this time, you may be feeling a little bit of tingling in your feet. That's very normal. The next movement we'll make is to bring the legs into butterfly or Pada Konasana. Or you have a second option tonight to do an upside down pigeon at the wall, which I'll have Brett show you just for the sake of seeing. So you'll bring the right ankle to the left thigh, keeping the rear all the way on the ground. So if you have to scoot away from the wall to keep your hips and bottom on the ground, you need to do that. But you'll draw the right ankle to the left thigh, and then begin to bend the left knee. And this is where it gets tricky, where you start to find that maybe your bottom is not going to stay on the ground. So adjust as needed. So you'll take about 15. Yes, I'm expecting you to do just a little bit of counting tonight, about 15 to 20 breaths on either side. Or you can just stay in butterfly, and we'll all take only about 3 total minutes for all of this. If you finish early with this stretch that Brett's doing, this upside down or reverse pigeon at the wall, you'll just move into butterfly legs until the end of our time section here. If you're feeling tempted to press your legs into the wall, if you're in butterfly and you're feeling tempted to press into the legs, please let go of that temptation and allow yourself just to relax in this pose. So when you get to the end of counting your breaths, if you're in reverse pigeon, go ahead and extend the legs. If you are in butterfly, extend your legs. Gently bounce the knees a little bit, just shaking it out a little bit. And when you're ready, take a long inhale, and as you exhale, draw the knees in and give yourself a squeeze. Rocking side to side. Maybe even seeing what happy baby feels like tonight, just for a breath or 2 or 3. And then eventually rolling to one side and coming back to your mat. Coming to a seat. It's not the easiest pose to come out of, so no one's extremely graceful coming off the wall, by the way, for any of you watching. So the next pose we're going to come into, you need a block or a rolled up blanket or a pretty densely stuffed throw pillow. We're going to come into a supported bridge. So you'll start lying on your back with your knees bent. And then take a long inhale and a full exhale. As you inhale this next inhale, lift the hips up off the mat towards the sky. And we'll take 3 breaths here before we come into the supported bridge. Feel your belly engage. Notice if your glutes are trying to do the work for you, and let go a little bit of your glutes. Let them release a little bit. And then when you're ready, bring the block or whatever you have available underneath the sacrum. That's where your back and your low back and your butt meet up. There's sort of a bony triangle there. And when you found it, it feels almost comfortable to relax down onto this block, whatever prop. If the knees for some reason today want to just fall out wide, gently walk the feet out wide from the knees so the knees can just lean in toward one another. For these last 40 seconds or so, allow your breath to become longer and wider. And then as you find a nice big inhale, let that lift you up off the block. Again, engaging the core. Take a few breaths here, making sure the knees are not wider than the hips, drawing the chin away from the chest. Removing the block and slowly with control, bringing yourself all the way down onto the mat. Let the knees fall out into butterfly. We'll just take about 5 breaths here, so support in this pose is not as necessary at this moment. And then draw the knees up to center, walking the feet back in line with the sitting bones, and let the knees fall side to side about 3 times on either side. And you can move your hands. You don't have to keep your hands down in the way of your hips and legs. Next, roll to one side and press yourself up to a seat. Grab your bolster or whatever you're using as a cushion, and we'll move into some easy twists tonight. My favorite, the pose I'm missing the most as a pregnant lady, are twists in general, but especially this twist. It's extremely calming. It's a very cleansing practice to do twists. So what we'll do is have the short side next to your thigh. So what you want is you want to have your cushion or your bolster, whatever you've got, you want it longer than it is wide on your mat. And then you want that short side to be right up next to your thigh. And you'll start with the left thigh in line with the bolster. One hand on either side of the bolster. Find some length in the spine. And then as you're ready, melt down onto the bolster. Making sure to adjust as much as you need in these first 30 seconds or so. And then find some stillness. You may need a blanket in between your knees. You may need the top leg to be straight today. You may need some sort of adjustment. Let that happen so that you can find a comfortable stillness. As the thoughts come, we just notice, oh, I'm having another thought. And come back to the breath. We just say, no, thank you. I'm not interested in pushing you away or entertaining you, my thoughts. I'll just come back to my breath right now, into this mat. Take a deep breath in, a long breath out. As your body and your breath become ready, begin to gently peel yourself off the bolster and make your way over to the other side. Taking just as much time to find your breath as you descend, to adjust your body once you're there. And then to settle into stillness. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Allow your breath to gently begin to awaken you. And when your body and your breath are ready, gently make your way up to a seat, leaving your cushion, your bolster right where it is for the moment. You have two choices next. If you're struggling with maybe letting something go or feeling vulnerable about something, rather not wanting to feel vulnerable about something, you can lay back onto this bolster for just a nice, easy support, reclined Supta Baddha Konasana, so you can have your legs in butterfly as well. The other option is to use this bolster for child's pose. If you're feeling that there's something you need to protect, or that you're feeling like maybe you already were vulnerable and you just want some comfort now, child's pose would be a good place to go. So either one is reasonable. Can you show them both for me?
Yeah.
So this would be the reclined Supta Baddha Konasana. You would have a reclined supported Supta Baddha Konasana. You would have supports under your knees, though. You're not going to stay here without support. You want something under your thighs or your knees. So that's very important tonight in this gentle version. The other is to do child's pose. Your knees will be wider than the cushion you have. Your toes will be just touching, your big toes, will just be touching, not overlapping. And you'll come down onto this with full support. If you need a blanket under your head, you can. And you might not fit all the way onto this bolster. It may have to be pulled forward a little bit. We happen to be close in size to our bolsters because we're small people. So don't be fooled by that. Once you've chosen, go ahead and get settled. If you've had one cheek down in child's pose, at least spend the next 30 seconds with your other cheek down if you didn't already switch sides. Take a long inhale and a long exhale as your body and your breath make you aware that movement needs to happen gently. Begin to draw yourself up to a seat so that you can make your way to Shavasana. For Shavasana, you'll lay flat on your back with your feet not touching one another and your arms out to the sides. I would recommend having a bolster under your knees. If you don't want it, that's totally fine too. And some support under your head is completely welcomed and natural in a gentle practice as well. In a regular yoga practice, we might not normally have support under the head. Let the palms face up, out by the sides, not touching your torso. And here, your only job is to receive. Receive what the breath has to tell you, what your body has to process after these poses. And again, if the thoughts arise, we just favor the breath. Take a long breath in and a long exhale. Begin to gently bring your awareness back to the room. And as you're ready, some stretch might make its way into your body, big or small, whatever calls to you. And then roll to one side so that you can press yourself up to a seat. Then we'll meet with the legs crossed, the eyes closed, and the palms together at the heart. Bowing the head just slightly to whatever inner wisdom brought you here to take care of yourself today. Think back to those items of gratitude that you thought of at the beginning of class. Take a nice long inhale of gratitude. And exhale anything no longer serving you. Maybe it came up in this class, or maybe you don't even know what it is yet. Let's do that 2 more times. In with gratitude. Out with whatever is no longer serving you. It was my honor to be with you. Namaste. Thank you so much for being here, whether you watched live or you are watching at some other time. Join us again every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:15 to 8:15 live, or for the replays. Please give us a thumbs up on your way out, subscribe to my channel, and share this with several of your friends. It helps others find this class when they need it if you share and thumbs up and subscribe to this page. It'll help others who need this class find it. So we'll see you next time. Feel free to give us some comments. We so appreciate you.